And we're back, second half of Your Vote Counts with our new format. Glad to have you with us this morning. Topic number 3 has to deal with the situation that everybody saw played out last week at the Pardon and Parole Board. Oklahoma County District Attorney was involved in this. What's going on behind the scenes?
So what's going on behind the scenes with the Pardon and Parole Board and Julius Jones is a lot of effort is being spent on Julius Jones, but almost no effort is being spent on the Howe family and what happened in that case. What happened in that case is Mr. Howe was sitting in his driveway, was shot in the back of the head while his 2 young daughters watched. I think we just got to be careful. No one wants somebody who is innocent being put forth in death row. Nobody wants that. But at the same time, we've got to start having a discussion. I can't imagine being that family and having to deal with what they're having to deal with. The governor has a very difficult decision on his hands. If the governor believes this man is innocent, he needs to parole him. But we've got to start taking into account the families, and we've got to start listening to victims on the criminal justice reform front, which I'm a big proponent of. You can't ignore victims.
I mean, when we see these families being victimized, again, the victims, it's tough to watch, but there's another side of the story.
Yeah, I think it is important here to tell the Powell family that our hearts go out for what's taken place to your family. But I think you can say that in the same breath, something I've said on the show a number of times, you can say, I'm opposed to the death penalty in general. I don't think that the government should be in the place of executing its citizens. And I think the Pardon and Parole Board in this instance has said that there's enough reasonable doubt on who was the perpetrator of this crime to say that let's give the opportunity for life with the possibility of parole or life without the possibility of parole. That decision now goes to our governor. Our governor's got a big decision to make on this, and I hope that he surrounds himself with all voices in this case, and I think that he'll make the right decision.
Okay, our last topic this morning is something with a lot of intrigue. The governor has called for an audit of the State Department of Education. The outgoing superintendent, Superintendent Hoffmeister, disagrees, obviously. There's a lot of intrigue, a ton of politics here. What's going on?
Yeah, there's a ton of politics going here, and surprise that has to do something with education. I think there are a number of us that were a little surprised at how swift this call came out for an audit of the entire State Department of Education. I think that it's fair to ask the question, if we're worried about transparency in government, if we're worried about spending that may or may not be taking place in the right way, is it the best idea to have the government audit the government? That I don't know, but on this, I just wish that maybe a few of the leaders would have had more conversation with each other so that we didn't have all of this play out in the public in a way that really undermines, parents and teachers and kids and their faith in education.
There's a whole lot behind the scenes we don't know about, right?
Well, I got to tell you, I couldn't disagree more about the timing being somehow suspect. There's no big thing going on. There's no big... Audits are a good thing. Audits are good. I'm glad he made this call. 11 months ago, 22 members of the legislature called for an audit of the State Department of Education. It's not saying anything went wrong. It's saying it's the largest portion of our budget. Governor Stitt ran on auditing. We also, by the way, did find some fundamental flaws in the EPIC audit with the oversight from the State Department of Education. That's one of the things they're going to be looking at. I don't understand the fuss. I don't understand why everybody's not for this is a great idea. I'm glad we're doing it.
There's a whole lot more to come on this story, and as we'll see in the future. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.